everybody, Ella here. Before we start the episode today, I just wanted to let you know that we have just launched an official Mystery Shack Look Back store. We have been working with CrowdMade to provide a lot of really awesome merch. We've got shirts, hoodies, a tote bag, a mug, and a button, all emblazoned with our cartoon faces and logos and all that fun stuff, designed by yours truly. I just got all the samples in recently, and it's really nice stuff. You're gonna be the talk of the town in this. So, highly recommend that you check it out at crowdmade.com/collections/Mystery Shack Lookback. Link in the description. We are really excited about these. These are really cool. And it's another great way to support the podcast and spread the word via a cool shirt or other item of your choosing. And without further ado, on with the show. Take me back to the place I know, with the Mystery Shack and the forest gnomes. I'm already packed, so come on, let's go. Don't get me started, my heart's in Gravity Falls. Welcome to Mystery Shack Look Back, a nostalgic time capsule and no spoiler book club of the original Gravity Falls fandom. We are your curators of love. I'm Ella.
You're sounding very sultry today, Ella. I'm Charlie.
Today we have Michael Rianda, Season 1 creative director on Gravity Falls, Season 2 creative consultant, and director of The Mitchells vs. the Machines, the Academy Award nominated animated film.
Hello.
Welcome.
Ella, you're forgetting the voice of Thompson and Lee and
You're right,
Aaron Mitchell.
That should have been first.
That's true.
That should have
and
been the first
Mr. Poolcheck, guys.
Mr.
Hello.
Poolcheck.
The Mr. Poolcheck voice? We noticed you do a lot of the Walla.
I do a lot
of
of Walla, and sometimes they keep in scratch that I've done. So there's some Seuss lines that are me.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Oh, really?
Because I was also, Alex was like really hyping me up when we started the show, where he's like, I think you're going to be the voice of Seuss. And I'm like, really?
Oh my
Great.
gosh.
And I mean, he wasn't hyping me up wrongly, but I tried it out. And I think the executives were like, well, why don't you just do it, dude? You know, we don't need this other cartoonist.
Yeah, because you said that the reason Seuss actually made it into the show is Alex would do an impression of Jesus Chambro to make you laugh while you were brainstorming.
Yeah, no, Seuss was in the original Bible. And I was just like, when I read the original show Bible, I was like, he's like, I don't even know if we should put this character in. I'm like, are you insane? This is like the best character.
Did you also know Jesus Chambro? Like, personally?
I didn't, but I will say I met him, and the man is exactly like the character. He's wonderful.
That's amazing.
I met him, and he's like, hey man, what's going on? And then I was like, oh, hey, Seuss. And then he's like, you ever see that show, Quantum Leap? Where you go backwards in time.
I Quantum Leap.
I was like, yeah. And he's like, my life is basically just like that, except, I don't go back in time.
Oh my god.
And I was like, wait, what?
It's like, y'all would take hours to write Seuss dialogue, and then he does it in seconds.
No, exactly. I was like, just put that in I kept trying to put that in the show throughout the
We could
first
call this
season.
a tangent. This serves no purpose, but now I need to do this. Theorizing that one could time travel within their own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the quantum accelerator and vanished. He awoke to, find himself trapped in the past.
Trying to hoping the next one will be the leap home, dude.
Did you wind up voicing Seuss a lot in the table reads then?
Yeah, sometimes. I think I was also, I also auditioned for Grunkle Stan.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, in my head, I was like calling my mom. I was like, I'm going to be a voice actor. And then
you've starred in a movie now, so you got that.
Yeah,
Academy
totally.
Award nominated. I mean,
So look at this. Look at what is happening here.
oh my gosh, you know what?
Ella and I were on the short list for the
Student Academy Awards,
Oh,
because
really? Cool.
my senior film Slam Poet was a semifinalist for the Student Academy Awards. So what is happening here?
That's awesome.
Because I was only in that in a creative and voice actor aspect. I actually am the only person in this call never to have been on the short list for an Academy Award.
Yet, Charlie.
Yes.
So you guys are making me feel inadequate.
What?
Oh, no.
Where did you go to school? Where did you make that film?
I went to SVA in New York.
Oh, awesome.
East
SVA is
Coast,
great school.
East Coast baby. But I will say that all the other accolades that Mitchell's has gotten thus far, well deserved.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
Watch it on Netflix. what are you doing if you haven't yet?
I am obsessed with the two robots.
Those are our favorites by far.
Those are the best.
Although Katie reminds us of every single one of our friends.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Great.
Myself included.
That's wonderful. I will say, and I wouldn't say this if this wasn't a Gravity Falls focused show, is
sure.
One of the reasons why the Mitchells, I don't know, came to exist or whatever, is some of it was built out of old episodes that I was always trying to pitch Alex on, and he was always like, I don't know if these work. And I'm like, come on, man, come on.
You were like, giant Furby, man, come on, you could do the voice.
You could voice the giant Furby.
Yeah.
I know.
What are you waiting for?
One of them was like, they were on a road trip, and Dipper was like filming the whole time, and it was called like Road Trip into Infinity or something. And that was like one of the like lost episodes of the first season.
Interesting. But yeah, if you like Gravity Falls, you'll love Mitchells vs. the Machines, of course.
But speaking of your time writing on the first season, let's get into that just a little bit. Your career.
Yeah.
Sure.
So your first industry job was an intern at Jib Jab, right?
Yeah, no, I interned at Jib Jab, which is a wonderful place to work, and Alex also interned there.
Yeah,
that's right.
And Dana,
Jib Jab, they have, if I do say so myself, they have impeccable taste. No, but because they hired a bunch of people I love.
They did a few of the Weird Al music videos, and in like Alex's face is in one of them.
Yeah, totally. Because Alex
they
worked
would just
with
get
them.
their employees' faces in there.
And then me and Alex also did this Pixar internship together.
Oh, okay, cool.
And he left. They wanted him, and he said, "No, I want to make a TV show instead." And people at Pixar, to the day when I went, were still like, this guy turned us away.
The one that got away.
He really was like the one that got away.
They had a mount, an empty mount on their wall with Hirsch on it, and they're like, one day. But then he sort of contacted me after that had happened and said, "Hey, we have a lot of similarities, you know."
Yeah. He apparently, according to the DVD behind the scenes, wrote you an incredibly long letter begging you to come on the show.
Yeah, I mean, it was very nice and flattering because nobody else wanted me.
And in the letter, he said, "I know you're getting so many other job offers, and this might not be the most glamorous." And so that wasn't true.
Actually, weirdly, at the very time he was offering me something, I had made a short film that got on some weird industry list. So same week,
I just watched it right before the call started. It's got 15 million views on YouTube.
For some reason, it has a lot of views. But
which one was that?
It's called Work.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But the same week that Alex contacted me, I got an email in my email box from Dr. Dre.
Oh, wow. Dr. Dre, MD?
And then exactly. He's a trained medical doctor in sick rhymes. But then
he helps them get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, he helps the sick beats get better. That's what Dr. Dre does.
Yeah.
But and then when I read the thing, it was like, I'm, Jonas Davidson, Dr. Dre's producing partner. And I'm like, boo.
You're not the real doctor.
Give me Dre. I want to talk to Dre.
I did ask for Dr. Dre on the phone, and he said he's not here. And I was like,
can I speak to, is the doctor in?
Yeah.
I was like, I have no
Sorry,
time.
Dr. Dre doesn't make house calls.
But I was like, I have no time for this.
Now Dr. Dre went to see Mitchell's, and he's kicking himself that he didn't hire you.
So wait, what did they want you to do for like a music videos?
He was just sort of like, oh, maybe you could do like an adult, they just had a production company and they were trying to do like an adult TV show, like an adult animated TV show.
Did that anything ever happen?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Maybe they did something.
No, he was waiting for Michael to stop being busy with other projects. That's about to go into production.
He's still waiting.
Exactly. Yeah. He's still waiting by his phone, like, hello, when will you call? But it was really nice because I had a meeting with Alex and we immediately got along wonderfully. And, we were talking. I remember in the first meeting we ever had, we were talking about I don't know if you guys are nerdy enough to know this.
Yes, no, probably.
But in the TV show The Tick,
the
moon, there was always like a C and an H because in the first episode, Chairface Chippendale...
Chairface Chippendale tried to
write his name on the moon.
With this lovely new weapon, I, Chairface Chippendale, will commit the ultimate act of vandalism. I will write my name across the face of the moon.
Chairface Chippendale was the first toy I ever had.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I am nerdy enough, I promise you.
Yeah.
But I remember being so, blown away by that as a kid, and we were both excited about the same kind of stuff and like continuity and keeping the audience, and telling a comedic story with continuity is really exciting to us because the only things...
versus like Simpsons, the town blows up and then it's reset the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Alex really likes Futurama and would often talk about how they flex their continuity when coming up with the story meetings. Is the Chairface Chippendale's moon always your go-to in what you were trying to achieve?
Not really. It was just I just remember talking to Alex about that and being excited about it, and we like loved and hated all the same things.
Nice how we hate the same thing.
We did a lot of smack talking of like Scooby Doo or something where it's
Garfield eyes.
Garfield eyes, exactly. We hate Garfield eyes. So we hated all the same things and we loved all the same things and we just got along really well.
So you knew of each other in college but weren't really interacting until Gravity Falls?
No, it's funny because once the show started, people I think assumed like we went to high school together or something because we were
really? You were that in sync.
We were constantly around each other, and one of the writers was like, you two have this little Hobbit mind meld. He was like disgusted by it.
Although where you differ is your enjoyment of parties, correct?
No, we love the party, baby.
Okay, because there was a lot of talk of how that was a difficulty in writing Double Dipper because Alex at Dipper's age wouldn't have been this.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. When we were sort of the same way. We were like fearful.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Double Dipper is like is kind of personal to both me and Alex because we're both overthinking neurotic lunatics.
Hey, what is happening here?
Oh, same actually. Yeah. So how did you being nervous at parties at 12 evolve into you taking your shirt off at karaoke?
I don't know, man. I just figured it out.
You came out of your shell. That's exciting.
I get that.
No, and it's funny because I really found out that, and like Alex, like later, in the season was like, oh, Mike, you're you're like showing me the way here. But I just sort of realized that it doesn't matter. It doesn't benefit you to be afraid.
Yeah.
Socially.
Exactly.
It only benefits you to sort of be yourself and put yourself out there and all that stuff. And it's a very Pollyanna-ish thing, but
you go from a Dipper to a Mabel in life.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when I met Ella, she was one of the most asocial people I've ever met, and now we have a whole podcast about talking to people.
I love it.
I love talking to people.
This is an arc. It's a character arc,
yeah,
right?
So I'm glad that it manifested in a relationship that was so in sync. People thought you'd known each other for way longer.
No, it's true. We sort of we to this day sort of text each other constantly and always ask each other advice about projects and life and that sort of thing. So he's sort of like started as my boss and is now one of my best friends.
That's amazing. I love that.
Really
and so
sweet.
you started as a staff writer and then moved to creative director at some point?
Yeah, I was a storyboard artist. And I was like, I remember being in the office and be like, you don't want me as a storyboard artist? He's like, well, keep you at writer. I'm not that good at drawing, but I love story and I care more than anybody. Which sort of carried me through even when we were writing our scripts in Microsoft Word. And all the other writers were getting mad at us.
I've heard the stories, yeah.
But I actually recently learned P.T. Anderson writes his scripts in Microsoft Word, so...
Oh, so now you feel vindicated. You're like, I was right all along.
If it ain't broke,
basically,
TVA was wrong.
Me and Paul Thomas Anderson are in the same league, is kind of what I took away from that. Just in terms of like how all that stuff happened, I just ended up writing a ton... and I just never left the office. And I was so obsessed with the show being good that, like, I was there at 2 a.m. and Alex was the only other person there at 2 a.m. And he would, like, walk into my office like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and I was like, just trying to make my episode good.
Rob kind of brought a more realistic take, but we always viewed it as, like, from the commentaries and the behind the scenes, etc., that Rob, as, you know, kind of a supervising role was like, okay, let's make sure we actually make the deadline.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We've joked that Rob was you and Alex's babysitter.
Yeah, no, totally.
He has disputed that.
I mean,
he said no, they were. I wouldn't categorize them as babies, is what he said. But you're like, yes, I was.
No, I mean, we were irresponsible. I will say that. And Rob was sort of like more responsible, and he's also like really used to getting the job done.
Absolutely.
And so he was always like, here's the best way forward. And Alex was sort of like torn in between, I need to hit the deadlines, and I would always like be the devil in his shoulder being like, rewrite the episode, Alex.
Finished not perfect is a huge lesson.
Yeah, he calls you in the behind the scenes, he refers to you and Rob as the angel and devil on his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess all that overworking was behind you not returning in the same capacity for season 2.
Yeah, it's just in terms of season 2, like I just realized I was like, because there was a point where me and Alex were kind of working the same hours, and I thought at a certain point I was like, our jobs are equally hard. And then when I had my own project, I'm like, oh my god, his job was 1,000 times harder than my job.
So when relative to leaving Gravity Falls did you start Mitchell's?
It was sort of years later, a couple years later. Because
I know, you know, movies can take so long. I was like, maybe it was immediate.
No, I left just because I was like, if I'm going to be working this hard, it should be on my own thing. And I always wanted to make my own thing. And Alex was like very nice and supportive and you know, like looked at 1,000 cuts of Mitchell's, including,
oh my gosh,
you know, at like 12 a.m. before the screening when I'm losing my mind, and I'm like, I cut this scene, I think I ruined it. And then he called me and he's like, you know, I thought you were crazy, but you did ruin it. You need to put that scene back in.
So and then it was so sweet to watch the credits of Mitchell's and see him credited as creative consultant this time.
Yeah, no,
like,
totally.
We turned tables.
We switched
now
roles.
He's a consultant and a few voices here and there.
Yeah. So this episode we're about to talk about today deals a lot with the teens who were first introduced in The Inconveniencing, which you wrote the first pass at, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to ask, because in the commentary you briefly say that the reason Aaron Springer was asked to direct that episode is because he is your hero.
Aaron Springer, cartoon genius.
Yeah, I was curious about.
No, Aaron Springer is and was my hero. I wrote him on ICQ when I was 14 years old. Wow. I secretly found his ICQ number, and I would just pester him, and he was so nice. And actually, the first table read, they cut this out of the audio commentary. They cut all the interesting. We had a bunch of interesting things in the audio commentary, and they cut it all out.
But Disney doesn't listen to this podcast, Michael, so you could say whatever you want.
What the liberal media doesn't want you to know about Gravity Falls.
Well, the first table read of The Inconveniencing, it wasn't because he was my hero. It was just because he was on the show. But I was so tickled that he was going to be on it.
Yeah.
and we did the whole table read of the episode, and I worked super hard on it, and me and Alex were like killing ourselves over it. And then Aaron Springer, my hero, did not crack a smile the entire time.
You put yourself out there. You admitted that you did a Lammy dance for that episode, and he did not.
And it was
crack a smile.
like whatever, nothing on. He didn't think it was funny, or he's like not that sort of like openly like effusively, laughing at things.
Right. You can think that something's funny without laughing out loud.
But I was so upset when I was eating at Urban Eats in Burbank that day. I vomited in the in the bathroom.
And they don't pay the workers there at Urban Eats well enough to clean the bathroom, so that Michael Rianda authentic vomit is still there.
I hit the toilet.
Oh, okay, good.
All right,
good.
There you go.
I'm so
proud
aim.
of you. I believe
your
it.
aim is getting better.
Yeah, exactly.
So, who are Lee and Nate to you?
Lee and Nate are my friends Lee and Nate.
Wow.
I have friends from high school. named Lee Morrow and Nate Barranco, who I love and who I text with to this day.
Oh my gosh!
And then they're those guys, and then and then I'm Thompson.
Okay, so in the commentary for Love God, you said that you couldn't say Thompson's real name.
No, it was basically it's just because I was embarrassed because it was me. I've accepted myself at this point.
There are 2 characters based on you in this episode. That's
right, baby.
This is possibly, I'm guessing, the longest record you've had for Thompson.
Probably. I mean, it always felt, it's like let me hit you with Thompson's voice. Oh, okay. Hey guys, what's up? It's like nothing.
Whoa, it's like you were alive and with us today. By the way, Thompson died days after the series ended, folks.
Rip. He had to go back to his home planet.
The Disney Plus Thompson spinoff is in the works right now, and I can't say a lot about it.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Bye, guys!
Thompson died on the way back to his home planet.
So, the idea of you as Cupid started with you doing John C. Reilly as Cupid?
I mean, basically, it was just that Alex was like, oh, we need a character. I'm just gonna base it off Mike. And like me and Alex would do like a John C. Reilly voice to each other, like, Alex, what are you doing over there? Get on over here, buddy.
My God, yeah, it's uncanny.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow, it's oh, look at that!
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm Wreck-It Ralph over here. Hey, and then he was like, oh, hey, you should be the voice, and I was like, great. So, I was in Boston at the time. And it's so funny because when you do character voices in Burbank, at the studio, everyone knows you're like a dirty cartoonist.
Ugh. We don't serve you here.
They just treat you like a cartoonist.
When you walk past the Screen Actors Guild, you have to like rush or they notice you like in a stealth game.
Yeah, exactly. But when I went to the one because I was living in Boston at the time, so they recorded me in Boston, they treated me like I was like A-list talent.
Well, you are.
Which is like really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Thompson is here.
They were like, oh my God, Mr. Rianda, do you want water? Do you want sparkling or flat? And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh. So you said most of your work on season 2 was creative consultant. What did that entail versus season 1?
It basically just entailed like Alex would call and say, hey, take a look at this animatic. What do you think? And I would give notes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would write stuff, but it was mostly just sort of like gut instinct. Because I think that's sort of like what ultimately one of my biggest roles on season 1 was just sort of like having really high standards, and also I liked a lot of stuff in the show, so I wasn't like a jerk. But if something was bad, I would be like, oh, this doesn't work yet. We need to fix it.
Because you believe that it could be better.
Yeah, I believe I was like, oh, this could be amazing. So So when something wasn't working, I think Alex would trust me the most in terms of like, just because I was like, I loved the show and I believed in the potential of it, so he would sort of run this stuff by me. So,
and you had that connection of like, okay, we have similar tastes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like, I think Charlie and I have this.
Absolutely.
Like we often say we have the same brain, and sometimes we just have to run things off of each other.
No, yeah, we met each other through the Gravity Falls fandom, and
nice.
There was very little of the Gravity Falls fandom that cared this deeply about the Muppets or Weird Al, and we were like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
So did The Love God start as a season 1 brainstorming session?
No, I will say parts of it started, I think, when we were starting season 2, me and Alex were so burnt out. and we were like, we need to somehow figure out a way to like access the joy that we had in season 1 at the beginning. So we drove to CalArts, the school that we both went to, and we were just like hanging out in the halls trying to come up with episodes. And that was one episode that we came up with. It's mostly Alex.
The Love God is the 9th episode of season 2 of Gravity Falls and the 29th episode overall. It premiered on November 26, 2014 on Disney XD, sort of.
It was released on the Disney XD site, the Watch Disney XD app, and on-demand services on the 24th as a part of, let's see if I've got this right, Pranksgiving.
So Pranksgiving, I think, is probably the best programming slot we've heard.
Let's see. So far we've had Disney Channel's Monstober.
Monstober's terrible.
Monstober, that almost works.
No,
I think the worst one is January.
January is by far the worst.
Although I don't think
sucks.
there wasn't Gravity Falls in that one. People were scanning January for new Gravity Falls, and there was not.
I think the best one that Gravity Falls has been in so far is Freaky Freakend.
Freaky Freakend was
Jesus
great.
Christ.
Freaky Freakend was the programming block of body swap episodes. That was good.
Michael is praying for Disney to stop being so Disney.
Pranksgiving, I would say, I mean, it's our first Disney XD block rather than Disney Channel, and I'd say somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, no,
I don't really...
it's Pranksgiving, yeah.
Yeah. I could see, this episode... There's kind of a party atmosphere to it. I could see how it fits, but it's also just that Disney XD was quote unquote for boys, so I guess it's very blam. It's got blam energy.
God. Yeah.
Welcome back to Blam, the ultimate thrill ride through the world of Disney. Play it cool, there's a girl watching. Ready, set, blam! Did someone call the Blambulance? Let's rewind the Blam Cam to see that again.
One thing that's funny about all those names is that, like, Disney me and Alex came up with so many, like, marketing ideas to try to, like, spread the word about Gravity Falls, and they were, like, these, like, ideas that were, like, full of love and inspiration, and they're like, nah, dog. We got January. That's where we're at. They would, like, shoot us down and then come up with Freaky Freakend.
Pranksgiving, kablam!
Blam, blam, bliggity blam!
This episode was directed by Sunil Hall, written by Josh Weinstein and Alex Hirsch. Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Josh Weinstein!
Josh Weinstein was wonderful.
Let's watch it.
Lick that sponge! Lick that sponge! Oh, Mabel takes on a challenge so... challenging?
You know what Robbie is? A new girl!
So horrifying...
Hey! Nobody in the Pines family is welcome here.
She'll need help from this magical creature.
Woo! Kaboom! Pow! Match me! Let's get weird!
It's a touching new Gravity Falls. Part of Pranksgiving Week next Wednesday night at 8 on Disney XD.
What the H?
Well, we just watched The Love God.
With the Love God himself.
Hey.
Heyo.
Is this your first time as a god?
Yes. No.
I would say depends on who you ask.
Yeah,
If you ask the
exactly.
people in Boston, they would say...
They love it. They love me.
Always.
The engineer, I made friends with him. I probably talked too close to him.
Is it tough to be a god?
He gave you offerings.
Yeah, he gave me offerings like pretzels.
And sparkling water.
And a LaCroix.
And that was before LaCroix caught on. You got in the ground floor on
He was on
LaCroix.
the ground floor.
So speaking of getting on things at the on the ground floor, you brought Brad Brick onto Gravity Falls, it seems.
Yeah, I that was just sort of like one of the many things that I would do is like, and I realized like when I was working on a movie how much you need this person. It's just like a little psycho because like we had a really hard time figuring out the theme song, and there were so many theme songs that were like friendly kids in a crazy town, like that had horrific lyrics. And one of the people who turned in music was Brad Brick, and I was like, oh, I love this guy. He was in this band, the Meishi, that I really loved.
Oh.
And one of the theme songs he turned in ended up being this like Mabel fantasy theme that we used a bunch of times throughout the course of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I know which one you're talking about, I think.
Yeah, it's like wow, 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 wow. It's like obnoxious.
That's exactly how. Wow,
but,
why did you even need Brad Brick? You could have done the whole soundtrack yourself.
And then on his website, we found this song that sounded like pretty wonderful, and I was like, man, this could just be the theme song.
Oh yeah, that's right. Made Me Realize is the one that everyone thinks is the theme.
Yeah, and then he turned in like 5 variations, all of which were absolute bangers. We used throughout the course of the series. So
awesome.
it was very obvious that he was the guy. And he did such a good job.
In the unaired pilot, the theme song was performed by Nil Ciceriga, a.k.a. Lemon Demon, which was a lyrical theme.
We're explorers of forests and haunted halls, empty graves and old caves and abandoned malls. I mean, there's nothing else to do here in Gravity Falls.
But I actually like those lyrics. He had been kind of helping a little with the show, but nothing he turned in got used.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Alex just loves Neil Cicierra.
Yeah.
And so he was just sort of like always looking for a way to bring him in. And it's so funny, you know, it's like when we started, we were so small and such a like no one cared about Gravity Falls, obviously, because it was like, it was a show on the Disney Channel. So at the time, we were like, we could never get Neil Cicierra. You know, like he's a star, you know, look at how many hits, you know, his YouTube videos have.
Everything on the internet, you can link back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best way I've ever heard him described is as a serial one-hit wonder.
That's really funny. Brody Quest, like Alex showed me like 150 times.
Was that part of your bonding? Like, you gotta watch this.
I would say I watched it bemused. I wasn't as entranced as Alex was, even though I didn't.
He was like, no, one more time. You got it.
No, you'll really get it the second time.
Yeah, the 9th time.
So there are many people who have probably seen this episode and seen Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny and Potter Puppet Pals and not realized that Emmy and Neil, the duo behind Potter Puppet Pals, are behind the
end credit sequence. Yeah.
The ending montage here. Goat and a Pig.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Goat and the Pig is a parody of This Will Be an Everlasting Love by Natalie Cole, a sound-alike, probably because it is the theme of the eHarmony commercials.
You really hear it in Neil's demo, too, which we've linked in the description.
Let's play the demo to Goat and a Pig.
A goat and a pig. A goat and a pig. Yeah. A couple of livestock living their lives stuck together in harmony. A pig and a goat showing the world that a pig and a goat can be family. Love so strong, love so big, such a beautiful goat and a pig bound in matrimony now and forever. Shopping for groceries and buying a condo and filing their taxes together. Goat and a pig, goat and a pig.
And then we played it.
This is the first Gravity Falls episode that has Josh Weinstein as a credited writer, which is huge because he wrote for The Simpsons.
And oh boy, does it show.
Yeah.
So, during season 1, you kept joking that no fans were going to care about Lee and Nate, right?
Yes. No, exactly. That was, like, we joked consistently about how, like, oh yeah, the fans are going to be clamoring for Nate and Lee, but it was funny because immediately once that episode of The Inconveniencing came out, people actually were clamoring for it.
And Josh Weinstein, the showrunner of The Simpsons, Mission Hill, and Disenchantment, specifically requested if you do anything else with the teens, please get me in on that.
Oh yeah, no, well Josh is like wonderful, and it's also funny too because me and Alex are such big Simpsons nerds that like Josh will answer any question.
That's
so
amazing.
Sweetly and patiently. And we're like, okay, all right, so who shot Mr. Brent?
In episode 1F12, yes.
In episode 2F09, when Ichi plays Scratchy's skeleton like a xylophone, he strikes the same rib twice in succession, yet he produces two clearly different tones. I mean, what are we, to believe that this is some sort of magic xylophone or something?
He was just so generous, and so sweet, and also was just cranking out club bangers, you know, one after the other.
Right.
It was so awesome to have such a ringer on season 2.
I know the Will You Accept Squirrels as Payment was Josh Weinstein, I believe.
Yeah, he had a million.
You can tell that Josh Weinstein wrote this episode.
It's so Simpson-y, and it's so good.
It is about an event happening at a small town and how that affects everyone. This feels like a Simpsons episode.
We get the reveal that Thompson is his last name because it's the name on the mailbox at his house.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's because kids called me Rianda.
My gosh, okay.
So are you behind why whenever we interview someone who worked on the show, they call Alex exclusively Hirsch and never Alex?
That's so funny. No, I'm a big believer in calling people by their names.
Yeah, that's fair.
It feels distancing.
Yeah.
But Rob always calls him Hirsch.
Yeah, in our first interview with Rob Renzetti, he exclusively called him Hirsch. In our second interview with him, at one point he catches himself and goes, Alex.
Yeah, it feels like the kind of thing that, among peers could either be very loving or very cold, very distant.
And in the commentary, you said you didn't know which it was when it was done to you.
It was definitely a distancing move.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Thompson.
Yeah.
I do feel incredibly bad for Thompson has friends because he's really fun to bully, and so...
Yeah, the moral of the episode is that him being bullied apparently is the glue that keeps his friend group together, which, poor Thompson.
Yeah, no, it's not great.
Now I feel so bad learning that Thompson's based on you. Oh, no.
But I do like the Mabel's side of this story where she decides to try to cheer up Robbie, who is still heartbroken over Wendy way back in season 1, meddling with a love potion from the love god, but then ultimately deciding that meddling cannot be solved by more meddling.
Yeah.
That she kind of has to cut her losses and accept what she already did, but bail before it gets any worse, because she knows that, like, the more magic you put into the situation, it's just going to get worse, and it looks like it's stable the way it is, so let's just leave it, is a really interesting way to leave the story. And I like the idea of, because in season 1, Robbie is Dipper's rival, and here we have the other twin helping their siblings' rival. Wonder if that'll happen again. I don't know.
In the commentary of this episode, you talk about how Robbie and Dipper are exactly as insecure as each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
But because Robbie is older and plays guitar, Dipper does not see him how everyone else sees him.
Yeah, and he is turning out differently in his life because, well, arguably he doesn't have a Mabel, or does he? Because we meet Robbie Stacy Valentino's parents, and they're exactly like Mabel.
I love his parents!
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love the idea that he just has so he's surrounded by death all the time. So, his parents are optimistic about death, and he's pessimistic about life. Bob boobity boo, there you go.
Because they kind of, in their field of work, they would have to be, right? They witness death every day. How else would they cope?
I love when they're excited about death.
Oh no! I hope someone didn't die.
Yes, that would be awful.
So you said they're based on the nicest people on the staff.
Yes, yeah. Tim McKeown and Kimberly Mooney, who are delights.
Amazing. We get more Melody and Seuss. Always good. Always good to see.
Oh, that's so cute.
We love them. We love that they are video chatting and walking down real stairs. So this episode, a little infamous for things that were changed from the storyboard script phase to the final.
Oh, sure.
Because when the love god enters the diner, originally in Sabrina Cartugno's storyboards, the love god was originally going to make two old women fall in love.
Yeah.
And that was changed to an old woman and an old man, as well as the love god's necklace was originally a symbol that's been used by the trans community a lot, and then it was changed to just like the standard male and female symbols. We do still get Mabel with the rainbow sweater, but it's definitely significant.
Mabel was given the rainbow sweater, I think, as a response to this scene being moved.
Interesting. But do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, no, that's just like some real Disney cowardice at work.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's sort of one of those things where in the notes they will say, because we got, it's interesting because Disney, unlike some other places, other places have standards and practices notes that come. Disney makes their own standards and practices notes. So like the people were in the building. And they sort of said, please revise. And then Alex is a smart person, so he would always be like, in the email, like, please, okay, what do you want us to revise about it? And then they'll like call us. Yeah. They're sort of too cowardly to be on record doing that. And it's it's like this, lame Disney mandate, that they like are afraid of someone getting mad at, seeing a gay person. I don't know
in my cartoon.
I don't know what they think the fear is. Like, oh God,
their faces will melt like Raiders.
Exactly. Well, and that's the other thing. There was tons of gay people at the studio and LGBTQ plus all around, and it's so absurd that they censor that.
At the end of Mitchell's, when Katie admits she's seeing someone to her parents, at any of the screenings of that, did any faces melt?
No, everyone is fine with it.
Fascinating.
It's so silly.
Fascinating.
But it's funny because everyone always gets tight about it because I don't know what they think is going to happen. But But
yeah, not based in logic.
Because it's like everyone knows gay people and LGBTQ plus people in their lives.
Yeah.
It's like it's not something that's like out of the ordinary.
I think and this is definitely playing devil's advocate because I don't agree with them in the slightest, but I think because this is a children's show, there is a strong chance that at least one viewer just didn't know women loving women was a possibility, and their parents will have to explain it to them.
but great. Alex's response or my response to that would be like, oh, someone has to explain.
Teaching moment.
Yeah, some men love other men and some women love other men. Good. Like,
yeah, it's like, I'm going to lead to parents educating their children, so we're an educational show. Okay, no issue then, moving forward.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Alex Hirsch had this to say about it to the marysue.com.
Yeah, he in an interview with them, he said, the note came back immediately.
The scene of the two old ladies kissing in the diner is not appropriate for our audience. Please revise.
I responded with a one-word answer. Why? This basically broke the censors. They couldn't think of a single way to phrase an answer to that question, so they made me talk on the phone so there would be no paper trail. They were terrified of sounding like bigots, but I honestly don't think they were bigots. I think they were cowards. They basically admitted that there was no good reason why I should change it, but that they get complaints about this stuff from various homophobic parents and would rather avoid the headache, and couldn't I just drop it? I said that if we were basically being held hostage by bigots and screw that, let's rise above this crap and just pull the trigger. The worst thing that can happen is that we get some letters. Who cares? Disney's a giant company. We could survive some letters from some cranks. I don't think they necessarily disagreed, but there's no incentive in their job to say yes to things. But I kept going back to them. We probably had 6 or so conversations about it. It's one of the only times I had a face-to-face meeting with the censors. I didn't want to go back to my board artist and tell her that I lost this fight. I wanted to win. I wanted to set a precedent. And I argued that little things like this could mean the world to people, and that anyone who was pissed off deserved to be pissed off. But despite my greatest efforts, it finally came down to change the scene or we'll cut it out of the episode ourselves.
One of my favorite background gags in the whole series is here when they are at the diner and behind Lazy Susan on the board is, ask about our steak dinner. We don't have one.
I never noticed that. That's amazing.
It's a great one. We also get we see the chef at the diner for the first time. He gets the...
Voiced by Matt Chapman, of course.
Mind if I add a little something to these fries?
I don't see why not.
It's a very similar voice to Matt does it for one of the enemies in Stinko Man when you actually talk to them in Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People. Stinko Man is a Mega Man clone that they made.
Oh, great, another one. Look, why can't you guys just speak normally?
And he does a similar voice for Original Bubs, before the recast, of course.
Hey, Homestar, I can see you from here.
That's some great eyesight, Original Bubs.
Yes, of course.
Mabel is the first Hamilton fan, guys.
Yep.
Oh, guy from the $10 bill. I forgot I had a crush on you.
The way I found out that Hamilton had become this huge thing was someone posted a picture of a statue of him from Morristown, New Jersey, that was outside of my workplace, and it was a stranger who posted it to Tumblr, and I'm like, should I be worried?
At the Woodstick Festival, we see brief little cameos from 2 members of Several Times, who are still, cavorting like woodland creatures, as well as Toot Toot McBumbersnozzle. His music career seems to be taking off.
Oh yeah, you think he's there as a performer? That's fantastic.
That's what I assumed. I mean, he's got songs in his heart and funny tattoos on his head.
He sure does. I've noticed that about him.
You know what I love, Charlie?
What do you love, Ella?
I love conspiracies. I just wish there was a place where I could properly express that love in a socially acceptable way.
Well, it just so happens, Ella, that Conspirapalooza is rolling through our area.
Oh my gosh. You mean the celebration of conspiracies and free love?
Conspiracies, free love... Cucumber water and greasy snacks, yes.
You know what? I actually met up with a few conspiracies earlier, so what do you say we pile into the van here and talk about some conspiracies?
One time I went to a Sufjan Stevens concert in Brooklyn and could not find regular water. They only had cucumber water.
Yeah, I figured that was too specific to just be made up on this spot.
I was like, okay. To some extent, I too am a hipster, but you guys need to cool
I remember
it.
when we were walking back from the Mabim Bam show in Brooklyn, and we passed someone with a full-on cartoon handlebar mustache, and we were like, "Oh, Brooklyn."
And I was dressed as a pirate in our Mabim Bam show in Brooklyn, and on the subway, two guys were like, "Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, this style's been catching on lately." And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
I be dressing like this before.
I'm a trendsetter."
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we all pile into the van here, and we can conspire.
Ladies and gentlemen, right this way to the Hall of Conspiracy.
So again, we see Grunkle Stan's bandage from Society of the Blind Eye still there. He's still healing his hand from the injury with the portal.
We once again see Powers and Trigger, the government guys, in the background.
At the Woodstick Festival.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they enjoyed it?
I mean, it's not like it's a comedy show, so I bet Powers was probably... there's nothing that says he can't enjoy music.
I think also Trigger loved it because he could just rap all day.
Yeah, all day. Well, you could. I don't know if you should.
I love working for the government. You could just rap all day. Well, could and should are two different things.
Blue Tuba 24 from the Gravity Falls subreddit posted a screenshot of Robbie depressed in the open grave, and behind him, they say, "I just noticed that someone in Gravity Falls was born in 1989 and died in 1971. The tombstone does indeed say R.I.P. 1989 to 1971.
Monkey Sky posted to the subreddit. I remember people theorizing that Robbie is actually a zombie. In this episode, it's confirmed that he attracts carrion birds, that he acts like a corpse when upset, and that his parents, who are not entirely mentally stable, are funeral directors.
And another post on the subreddit from Time Travelociraptor. That is the best name we've seen thus far.
Okay, Time Travelociraptor, I don't know you. I've only read one sentence you've ever written. If you're listening, you are welcome to come on the podcast.
Time Travelociraptor writes, "Wait, so what did they do with the anti-love potion?" And a subreddit user who was so ashamed of their own username compared to Time Travelociraptor that they deleted replied...
Yeah, no, this one hasn't been deleted at some point in the last 7 years. It was the second they saw that username, they were like...
Yeah. They're like, forget it. What's the point? They replied... Kept it for the future, I guess. Notice how they are keeping stuff like the President's Key, the Memory Eraser, the Grappling Hook, the Anti-Love Potion, maybe the Broken Time Tape. They might use them all to defeat Bill in the season finale. Perhaps they will.
And, while we have never done this before, first I would like to tackle the end card combination cipher. We'll get to why in a second that we're not doing the Vigenère first. The end card combination cipher reads, "At the play or at the fair, I always see them standing there. Dressed in black, they're on my lawn. But when I turn my head, they're gone."
So that, of course, is referring to Agents Powers and Trigger, who've been appearing in almost every episode of season 2 thus far.
That the credits are now pointing it out to you makes it seem like maybe whatever they are doing there in the background is coming to a head soon, potentially?
Yeah, it's that, the show pointing it out, or almost like inviting you to, if you haven't noticed yet, go back and scan for them.
Ella and I have previously stated that we've never understood Vigenère cipher.
Yeah, we got it a little bit a few weeks ago. I slowly started to understand it, but we still never done one hands-on. Until today!
Yes, because we have with us our Patreon supporter, Juneau Ceres, who apparently is a self-proclaimed expert.
Welcome, Juneau.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So the reason we have invited you here today, one is because we met at our Patreon events, which are available to anyone at a $5 level.
Patreon.com/Mystery Shack.
Wink, wink. But two, you told us you actually understand Key Vigenère quite well.
Yeah, the Vigenère cipher, we had a little explainer from Unrelated Human in our Discord server, but you mentioned that you can take us through the process.
Yeah, totally. So I am, an escape room puzzle hunt ARG enthusiast, yes. So this is totally in my wheelhouse.
Fit right in, yeah.
Real quick, one I would like to ask is, your history with cryptograms.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I found a book called, code ciphers and secret writing. Changed my life. I mean, not really, but it was super fun.
So, around what age?
In elementary school.
You just did a Dipper thing. You just found a mysterious book.
So you're just Dipper is what you're explaining to us.
Dipper is relatable, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also just real quick, in case there's an interesting story here, how did you discover the podcast?
Should we tell how did you discover Gravity Falls and then...
Yeah. First, let's do how did you find out about Gravity Falls?
So I don't remember. I think it was like 2015. It must have been the guy I was dating had me watch it, and it was kind of a non-event at the time. But this September, just random whim, decided I'm going to go back and rewatch it.
Oh, like September 2021.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And for whatever reason, this time it just totally sucked me in. I was like, I need to know everything about this.
Oh, wow.
And you found the source for everything about this, huh?
Yeah,
no, having the context, like, to know what was happening at the time is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do here. I'm really glad. I'm glad it helped.
Thank you so much. And where did you read that or find out that the podcast was out there and existed, or did you just blindly search for anything that could guide you through a rewatch?
This was the magic of the YouTube algorithm, actually.
Okay.
There is a video on YouTube that is steamed hams, but everyone gets possessed by Bill Cipher.
Yes, which I made because I call Bill Cipher the clickbait man, because there's a definite trend for a very long time that he was in the thumbnails of all of my most viewed videos. So knowing that Bill Cipher was about to finally enter the show and thus allowed to be discussed on the podcast, I made a tie-in video for
our Dreamscapers episode.
Yeah. Superintendent, I hope you're ready for some mouth-watering hamburgers. I thought we were having steamed clams. Oh, no, I said steamed hams. That's what I call hamburgers. You call hamburgers steamed hams? Yes!
Yeah, it totally worked. I downloaded the podcast.
That's awesome.
I listened to the first episode on an airplane.
Okay, wow. Okay, Mr. Shack Look Back in the Mile High Club. All right.
Yeah, Mr. Shack Look Back has been in outer space.
That's what that means, right? That's the club where you listen to a podcast on a plane, right? That's what that means?
I believe so.
I'm going to put that in my bio.
I'm really glad that it helped you contextualize, understanding the gravity, pun intended, of what was going on in the fandom when it was airing, because, I haven't talked to that many people one-on-one for whom that's been the case, for people who weren't around when it was first airing. But more and more, I'm talking to those people who had that experience through our podcast, and that's really special to me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, totally. It's really cool.
So without further ado, this episode is infamous for Ian Warrell really torturing people to try to find the Vigenère cipher key.
The Vigenère keys got harder and harder to find over the course of season 2.
Which all peaked with this episode. Yeah. Instead of just heading straight to the credits with the note on the cryptogram from the wiki, Ella and I are first going to try to spot it.
Cool.
So I know where it is. We are watching the episode. We are watching the scene where, watching the scene where Mabel is running through the Woodstick Festival with the anti-love spray, and we're seeing letters hidden in the background on various pots.
Is that A part of it?
That's an A, yeah. So far we are seeing a G and an O and an A, and also the key symbol is on a jar right next to it, so that's how you know that something is a key.
Yes, I see. Okay.
That's so devious.
And so, alright, there's a T on the curtain there. There's an A in the potatoes.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right there.
And an N on the bananas.
Yeah, so far we've got G, O, A, T, A, N, and this is these are frames of difference for context. We are pausing every second to get, because it's one long shot.
There's a D on one of the stacking cups.
Yep.
Is that a G? IG? On the, the cabinets? Yeah.
Okay, we have to go back. We missed one. We missed several.
How did people find this?
Okay. It's in the fucking grass.
It is. It's right there.
Yes, it is.
This made me drop the F-bomb, which I never do on this podcast. Okay, so.
Wow.
After 3 different playbacks of that scene, at least, we found the full key for this Vigenère cryptogram, goat and a pig. That was not fun.
Okay. And now...
Also, okay, so Juneau, so you didn't know, you were finding that out with us just now, right? where that key was?
Yes.
But did you do this for the others? Like, were you able to find them and do that yourself, or?
Yeah, I confess that I have not actually gone back and watched these episodes frame by frame looking for letters.
That's fair. That's something most fans do later on anyway.
It's one of those things where, like, the puzzle's been solved. It's not as much fun, but now that I see what we're dealing with, I am going to have to go back and find them because that's amazing.
Is that it? That's all?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But, no, just because I'm interested because you had this formative experience with codes and cryptograms, and did that inform your experience of Gravity Falls when you revisited it? Were you, like, realizing, oh, this is all here that you didn't see the first time?
Yeah, it's knowing that it's there, like, going back and discovering it is going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
As soon as I have the time.
It's an interesting coincidence that you had this lifelong, like, interest in codes and cryptograms, and now you have this show to explore. I love that for you.
Thank you.
So we got the credits cryptogram here is the letter O, and then a space, and then SAM, like Sam, and then a space, and then KVGS, like kegs with a V instead of an E.
So, can you, Juno, lead us through using the Vigenère cipher to solve this?
Yeah, so we have the Vigenère key, goat and a pig, and we have the cryptogram O Sam Covics.
Yup.
What do we do from here?
So if this were a normal substitution cipher, you would go through letter by letter and count back 3 or whatever number, right?
Correct. If it were a humane cipher.
So O minus 3, 1, 2, 3. You'd have L. S minus 3 is 1, 2, 3. P.
But we're in hell now, so that doesn't work this way anymore.
Correct. So imagine if, instead of going back 3 every time, you went back 3, then 1, then 7, then 3, then 1, then 7, then 3, then 1, then 7.
Wait, we have to do what?
So it's this, like, repeating sequence of change.
Okay.
And
you're shifting by a different amount every letter, and that pattern is determined by the key.
Exactly.
Got it.
The first letter in the text you will shift back by G. The second letter you will shift back by O. The third letter by A. Fourth by T, etc.
Okay. That's not so bad, because whenever I would look up stuff about solving the Vigenère cipher, I would see these grids, and those terrified me. I was like, what are you doing? What is this?
Yeah, I don't understand what the grid is for.
I guess the grid is maybe just so you have an easy reference for what number letter it is in the alphabet.
I think it's more confusing, but,
So I have my code wheel that came with Dipper's and Mabel's Guide to Mystery and Nonstop Fun.
Mm-hmm.
I am lining it up so A matches with A and vice versa. And then all I have to do is go back 6 and then see what's on the O.
So yeah, what is O minus 6?
I just wrote out the alphabet and counted, but
Yeah, let's check each other's work. Is it the letter we're looking for I?
Correct. It is I.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, we're doing this.
You're doing it.
So the next shift factor would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. O is 15.
Actually.
No?
Actually?
It's not A1Z26.
No.
It's A0Z25.
Okay, got it. Right, because you could potentially shift it no spaces. Okay, so it's 14.
So were we wrong last time? Was it not I, or did we get that right?
You called G6 for us, I think. I think you gave us that
Okay.
Which was very kind of you. We're moving 14 spaces back from S. We need S minus 14.
Correct.
Oh god, letters and numbers and math. It's algebra all over again.
Is it E?
Yes.
It is E.
Okay.
And A, because you said A equals 0, the next part of the Vigenère key is 0.
So that means we don't move it.
So we don't move that A. So that stays A.
Correct.
I've solved it Wheel of Fortune style already.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So T is 19 in this case, correct?
Mm-hmm. So you need M minus 19.
M is T.
M is T.
Yes.
All right, and then the K is an A, so shift no spaces.
Yep, K is K.
And since the key is longer than the code, we just will run out. We'll just be done the code before we get through the key, right?
Yeah, just some of the key just doesn't get used.
Because I've seen also in cases where the key is shorter than the code, you repeat the key.
That's right.
You restart. Yeah. Wow, Ian Worrell did all that and we didn't even use the whole key? So how do you know you're shifting backwards? Because you're decoding, I guess, rather than encoding.
I guessed.
Okay.
Generally, they seem to encode forward and decode backward, but there's no way to know.
So this one is an I.
So now we're getting
D, which is 3, right?
3. Yep.
Mercifully.
3. So G minus 3. You can do that pretty easily.
Yep. Thank you to Rob Renzetti for coming up with the idea to put these wheels in the book. This is helping me so much.
Yeah.
That's a D.
Final one is another A. So that's a 0 shift.
So the S is an S.
The S is an S. That was probably the hardest code to spot and the inversely proportional to how difficult it is to solve.
Yeah, so using Vigenère key goat and a pig, O Sam Kvigs becomes
I eat kids!
I eat kids, but we're kids!
It's heaven's punishment for our terrible taste in everything!
Thank you for helping us, Gina. That was awesome. Yeah, I've translated a cryptogram now. Oh my goodness.
Careful, it's a slippery slope.
I've already got my conspiracy board up. It's too late.
No, I think I'm going to be cutting it cold turkey after this. I think that was my last cryptogram.
I'm very pleasantly surprised with how easy the Vigenère cipher is in practice. The grids threw me off from it completely. I was like, nope, not doing that. Whatever that is, I'm not doing it. But wow, this is great. I feel so much more powerful. And in our description, we've linked to Juno's AO3 page with a lot of cool Gravity Falls fanfics, and we've also linked to the book that she mentioned about codes and ciphers and secret writing.
All right. And now let's head back to
our regularly scheduled podcast.
Oh, right. We left Mike just sitting there. Let's see if there's anything he wants to plug.
You want to unfreeze him from his cryostasis?
Before you go, I have the most granular, non-important question to ask
Please.
you. In the Inconveniencing, it is learned that the original owners of the Dusk to Dawn died of double heart attacks the first time they heard rap music.
Yes.
In the browser game, Pine's Quest, it is confirmed the names of the teens that killed Ma and Pa Duskerton.
Okay.
One of them is Jeffy Fresh.
Uh-huh.
Your friend Jeff Rowe claims that his proudest script is one that features a character, this is a non-spoiler podcast, so I won't say his name, but a very similar name.
Yeah.
Was Jeffy Fresh a Michael Rianda nickname for Jeffrey Rowe?
Oh, no. I mean, but I will say that was a Gravity Falls writer's room nickname for Jeff Rowe.
Okay.
Nice, okay. Mystery solved.
Because Jeff is constantly rapping in a way that's both charming and insane.
Like very, very like, my name is Jeff and I'm here to say.
No, yeah. In the commentary, Jeff talks about how like it's the best job ever because you could just like rap all day, and then Alex says, "Can yes." I don't know about should.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yes, it's 100% like a lightly mocking nickname
Jeffy
of
Fresh.
Jeff.
There you go. So the Academy Awards are on March 27th, and we're all rooting for Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for coming by to talk Gravity Falls with us.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
It's been such a joy.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a real treat talking
Such
with...
a gift.
Such a gift, I always say.
That's a good voice.
Thank you. Thank you, darling.
Oh, yeah, no, Ella just is Gideon.
Working on the hair.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But, yeah, where can people find what you're up to today? What do you want to plug? Give us some plugs.
If you haven't seen The Mitchells vs. the Machines, check it out on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Tell you watch it with your family. It's a good time.
If you already have a Netflix, it's free. If your friend has Netflix, it is also free.
That's true. And if you like Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch wrote 2 of the best jokes in the movie. So there you go.
Also for Gravity Falls fans who are finished with the series, Michael's dropped some pretty good nuggets of Gravity Falls trivia on your Twitter, yeah?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole run of I found a box of Gravity Falls stuff. And there's a lot of fun stuff in there, including I took a diary of everything that happened in one of the days, and just like, here's what it was like to work on the show.
And we read the alternate ending of Blended's game that you posted.
Oh yeah, man, that was like the biggest fight. The sort of most controversial moment, sort of in Gravity Falls history, because I was just like, whatever. I just thought that was such a stronger ending. And I was like advocating for it like a lunatic.
I know. I loved it. I look forward to to whatever you get up to next.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day. It was great talking to you.
If you want to find more episodes of this podcast, which we'd love you for, go to our host network, pipedreampodcast.com, where you can find other shows like Escape from Walt Disney, How Did This Not Get Made, and Come On Fahuquapods.
There, you can also find a link to our show's social medias, Discord server, and our Patreon. Patreon.com/Mystery Shack. Why are we doing this, Energy?
It's love.
Oh, okay. $3 will get you a shout-out at the end of episodes. $5 will get you into the viewing parties for the episodes. And $40 gets you voice or art commissions from Charley and Ella, respectively.
And like I said at the top, please check out our brand new store at crowdmade.com/collections/Mystery Shack Lookback for some sweet, sweet podcast merch. You can contact us at mysteryshacklookback@gmail.com if you have a love letter for us, or if you have any experiences from the fandom at the time. And thank you to Brian for making the instrumental for our theme song and voicing Stan in the Hall of Conspiracies intro. The Hall of Conspiracies theme is Lentil Dentist, which is a remix of our first episode by Sim and the Dim Bulb V2-0. We got the full thing and the link in the description. Adam, lots of people this week have been swapping spit, but I think you're the only one who's been just keeping the spit, who's just been taking it and retaining it.
He's like, no swapping. No, you're not getting any back.
No. So, I think today, in a celebration of all love, I'm gonna play us out with a ballad of perhaps the purest love that exists, that between a goat and a pig. A goat and a pig, a couple of livestock living their lives stuck together in harmony. A pig and a goat showing the world that a pig and a goat can be family. Love so strong, love so big, such a beautiful goat and a pig. Bound in matrimony now and forever, shopping for groceries and buying a condo and filing their taxes together. Goat and a pig, goat and a pig.
Hey, this is Dipper 4. I'm here with Dipper 3, and we are here to shout out our Patreon supporters. Yeah.
Finally, we get to do something again. We stole a bike and just been out here trying to avoid the rain.
Thank you, too. Daddy Driftwood?
Oh, and it's me. Sorry, I thought...
no, it's okay.
Alternating, got it. And to Daddy Buttons.
Fun Boringness?
Hugh Salinas.
Juneau Ceres.
Friendly Local Geek.
David Gansel.
Liz Clark.
Ryan Faber.
Stephen Patrick Mulholland.
Gwen Prime.
Junior Bruh. Or Jurbra. Junior Bruh.
No, I think you got it. And, Oliver Pluto. Jamie Belts. Petey Piranha Plant. Mumpleteen D. Wumpleteen? Really, Miles? Ro Davis. What are we gonna do with all this money, Dipper 3?
I don't know, Dipper 4.
More umbrellas?
Yeah, lots more umbrellas, tarps.
Maybe like 100 more umbrellas if you could.
All the waterproof, everything waterproof. Rains a lot more than we expected.
Can we laminate ourselves? Was that ever an option?
I think that's a good option if we can find a place.
Help two paper-based guys in the woods just being guys at patreon.com/Mystery Shack.